Chef Patrick. We are joined today. I've got my co-host Lisa here, and we have our first ever guest. So we have James and Bonnie in the house. They have eaten more of my food than anyone else, so we're super stoked to have them here. It's gonna be a fun episode. We're doing some southern food, and we're dealing with technical difficulty because of a Mac OS update this morning. So we are down to just one less camera. So whatever, it's all good. I'm dedicated to being here to help you guys eat locally. So let's get after it. We're gonna be doing pork chops today with grits, some red eye gravy, and we're doing a root veg slaw. So just kind of have everything. Yeah, that's what we do this time of year. So first things first, we are gonna start off with grits because they are gonna take the longest. So I'm doing a cup of grits. So please, unless you're doing kind of a fresh milled grits, make sure you're checking out your bag. Because if you have quick grits or something different, it could be a different ratio. I'm doing 3.5 cups of water for a cup, but we are gonna get the water hot first. So if you bring your water to a boil before you add your grits, they do not stick to the pan as much. So that's kind of, just wait till your water's boiling. Cool. So we're gonna also jump on getting some stock reducing for the gravy. Cool. So I made this stock yesterday. Kind of just went to the Whole Foods and got some chicken feet, some chicken backs, and some chicken necks. So yeah, it's gonna be awesome. But we're gonna reduce it down a little. Concentrate the flavor. If you bought boxed stock, just give it a taste. I mean, if you're happy with the flavor, I would say still get it going, reduce it down a little. That way we can just make it taste super good. So sweet. All right, well, with those going, I'm gonna start processing some veggies for slaw. So cool. So yeah, we got rutabaga here, Sunflower Farms. I'm gonna do shredded rutabaga, shredded carrot, and we do have a little old parsley. I'm gonna just chop up and add in to kind of use it up. Cool, so yeah, these root veggies, I mean, quite a bit of dirt in here, so just kind of break off the smaller roots while processing these.
Got just 1 month left until the farmer's market starts.
Yeah, April 5th. Do you know when any CSAs are kicking up? Should be around that time too.
I would imagine it'd be around that time. I'm not totally sure when everybody starts. Some of them may wait till May. We've got great weather now, but doesn't mean that everything's popping out of the ground yet.
Yeah, it'll help though.
Do you have a farm that you're particularly waiting for? Like that one vegetable that they make or grow so well?
Well, my favorite farm, unfortunately, only sells to restaurants. The guy who grows the super unique, off the wall veggies that nobody in the public is gonna buy because they're just but it's the stuff that as chefs we love just getting in. So
What is it? What would be your favorite?
my favorite vegetable?
Or what's the first thing you're excited about? I guess your favorite of all is probably the worst question to ask because they're all your favorite, right?
Yeah. So, I mean, really, it's What, the first things coming up that are gonna be awesome? Let's see. All the Hakurai turnips, like especially first of the season, they're just super juicy and like they're so good just to snack on raw with a little salt or something.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, as we go through, I love it all.
How about the first of that overwintered spinach?
Yeah. It's gonna be really sweet and tasty. I mean, I don't know. I look forward to getting into it. So.
Are there things in like the Boulder Valley area here, like the local places that grow better than other places that?
You know, we're fortunate to have a lot of passionate farmers here. Like, it's pretty sweet.
It's amazing.
Yeah. It just, you know, in this climate, it makes it tough. I mean, because you got to try and start everything. So everybody's like trying to start everything in tunnels. And you just need the infrastructure. But then if you get that late season frost, and it's just, you're like running out in the middle of the night trying to get row cover on or something to keep everything alive. So,
Which seems almost inevitable.
yeah, it always happens.
Colorado front range.
And it
Yeah.
can happen, it can be unexpected too.
Or
So
hail.
yeah,
You
the
know, when
hail
that
is
happens.
probably the worst,
Yeah.
especially May, June.
Oh God, I know.
People like, I mean, you can lose your whole crop if you get especially the golf balls. It's pretty wild.
I do think you're right though. People are pretty passionate here. I don't like growing up in Minnesota. There are people that have like farms and stuff like that, and little hobby farms. But I've seen a ton of people out here that have canopies, and they'll literally like reinforce structures to protect their 10 by 10 little plot of
Yeah.
vegetables.
Well, it's hard work. Like it's actually hard to grow really good vegetables unless you're a tried and true farmer that's done it for years.
Yeah,
Yeah, especially here, I'm sure like first year farmers, I mean,
it's got to be
it's
tough.
probably like a brutal just experience. Especially with the variance of like the weather, with the rain. I mean, you can go months without rain and then all of a sudden you get a ton and it floods the field or the variables. It's like,
Shakini said that she learned to love rutabaga at the restaurant, so she's thanking you for that.
nice.
And then Briggy is saying that broccoli they love most of all. Throw that in the oven with salt and pepper and put it under the broiler. Sounds
Yeah.
awesome. I love some charred broccoli.
Dude,
I just-
asparagus in the spring. When we start getting that, and we're doing like soft eggs, and we get some nice prosciutto in or something. Like, I don't know. Like throughout the season, there's always something good. I mean, then we get into stone fruit and
The beets.
dude. So, processing vegetables for this slaw. I'm going to use our food processor because I have it available. If you don't have one, throw this on a box grater or something. Coarser the better, just so you can kind of keep some texture to it, like after you dress it. But just like we did before, we're going to wait till the last minute to dress this up just to keep the texture in it. But I'm going to throw this through the food processor really quick. And yeah, we'll go from there. But I love having this.
So a little faster than our next grader.
Cool.
Make a quick work of that.
Dude, done. So we have a ton of it now. So we'll be eating this for a couple days. That's all right.
Darn.
So yeah, we're always just trying to figure out. I mean, you could see kind of like through the streams, I'm trying to do vegetable salads or slaws, or we roast them. I try to prep everything kind of differently as we go to keep it interesting. As far as like the cuisines as well as we go through them, from kind of Indian stuff to Southern now we're doing today. Last week was kind of, I mean, meat and potatoes, but kind of Italian inspired with like the salsa verde on the carrots and all that. So yeah, I try to figure this stuff out to make it easy on you at home to kind of like just make some good food, not have to think about it too much. So cool.
Shankini also said that we both taught her 2 years how to eat her CSA Hakurei turnips, which became one of her favorites. So she's excited to learn more about eating locally with us.
Heck yeah. That's awesome. Well, thanks for tuning in. Cool. Well, veggies are shredded. I'm going to get these chops out and season them because we have stock kind of reducing here. The water for the grits is about to a boil. We'll season it a little bit with some salt to make sure that like seasoning gets soaked up into the grits instead of just seasoning it all at the end. So, but cool. We're using these beautiful, I'll get them out here, but they are almost T-bones, so these pork chops. Yeah, so you can see, maybe not, because we don't have the overhead today, but there is this like little bit of tenderloin on this other side with the bone in the middle here. So it's pretty close to like having a pork T-bone steak, but
Not quite.
yeah, nice 1-inch cut. They're gonna be awesome.
Oh, he's like Buckner or another intro?
Yeah, so these are all Buckners. We do our best to get everything from those guys, but we'll have a couple others that we use this year. We met some really cool people down at Jacob Springs Farm earlier in the week.
Yeah, they've got a
And-
really cool thing going on there.
Yeah, he's operating this, it's like a farmstead kind of deal. So they're doing cheese, and they're raising animals, and they're growing produce. It's such a cool setup. And they have it so that way, like, it's a membership-based kind of thing. So you get a membership so that you're part of the farm, so that they can legally, like, process the animals there, and then you can go and pick them up, and then they make the cheese and everything. So it's pretty sweet. But
Yeah, it's only like $10 a month.
yeah,
It's
you
cheap.
become a member, and then
Yeah. And then, obviously whatever you purchase beyond that is extra, but
yeah,
I mean, $10 a month is nothing really.
What was the name of that place?
Jacob Springs Farms. They're out of Arapahoe and 75th, pretty much on the corner.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
So it's not too far, like at all.
Aegon said this is their first foray with CSA, so they're counting on us to show them how to cook all of the new and interesting veggies coming their way.
I will be here.
We're ready for it. We're excited.
Yeah.
I can't wait. I'm so ready to get more stuff in. This is the hardest part of the year about eating seasonally.
Dude,
Like
this-
literally the hardest. Like I think
mean-
worse than January,
No, well, stuff starts running out
Yeah.
when you hit March, and it's not warm enough to get new stuff growing. So you're just like, yeah, you're down to the end of it. But cool. Our water's boiling now. I'm gonna get the grits going. You've already got them going. Great, but let's season this water up a little. Cool. Yeah, you just want your water to taste good, not super salty. We are adding a lot of cheese and butter because we have to.
You can't not. for
Yeah,
grits.
I know, not for grits. You gotta have all the fat.
So these, your grits, you're gonna be pretty good. I mean, you're gonna want to keep an eye on 'em. I leave them on high to keep the water with the convection and the rolling of it. It like naturally stirs them for you, but you will get to a point where they've soaked up enough water where that's not gonna work right. So just keep an eye on 'em. I mean, the worst thing to clean is like burnt grits on a pot. So. See if you've got your stock reducing, give that a try. we're getting close. So, that go. Cool. I'm gonna turn down my grits. They're starting to splatter.
Stirring it too much.
So, self-stirring is maximized here. Cool. Well, I'm just gonna kick them on left. We'll leave them. Right on. Get these seasoned. Probably start cooking these. I don't know. They're an inch thick, so.
Yeah, those
Grits-
are some big
I
old
mean, the
pork
grits
chops.
will take like 30, 40 minutes, but these are gonna take, with how thick these are, with the bone in them. If you had boneless chops, they do cook a lot quicker, just because that bone is kind of an insulator. But we're gonna do salt and pepper on these.
Which kind of pepper are you doing this time?
I love the Zanzibar corn
I do too.
from Burlap Barrel.
Yeah. Oh, they're almost like citrusy. They're incredible.
They're really nice.
I feel like as someone who is not a chef, pork chops are very intimidating to cook.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, they can dry out super fast.
Right, yeah.
Like, so, I mean, I think the best thing to have is like a good thermometer. That way you can just nail that temp and you can pull them right at 130 degrees, and that way they'll be like a nice medium mid-well.
Okay.
And you're like, or you can brine them. That's huge too. We
Yeah.
would do that at the restaurant just to kind of keep them, because then if you do it for some reason overcook it, it's gonna retain moisture really well. So.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Salt and sugar naturally draw moisture out of things, and it also helps retain moisture in things. So brines usually consist of both. And you get something that's nicely seasoned, plus helps everything stay nice and juicy.
Yeah.
It's kind of a foolproof way to make sure you don't mess it up.
I do feel like brines are kind of like a wonderful cheat code.
Yeah,
They are.
they really
For
are.
sure. For chicken, it's like chicken
Yeah.
breast and pork chops.
Yeah.
Brines are amazing. Right on, these are seasoned. Check everything, but. Cool, so what I have for the cup of grits that we started with the water, we're gonna be doing 4 ounces of cheese and 4 ounces of butter total. So, it's a lot, but it makes them really good, and you don't eat like this all the time, so.
Just
Um,
once a week when they're cooking with you,
it's-
right? Last week we fried potatoes and duck fat, and the week before that we confit chicken. So
Yeah, I mean,
Rough.
what can I say, dude? I like good stuff, so, yeah, it is a lot, but, you'll see that it's worth it. I mean, it's worth for that, like, one meal a week, like, but,
Ride the high until the next week.
yeah, I mean, if you're doing the keto diet, getting the extra fat in there is good, right?
yeah, for sure.
I mean, the grits probably don't really count, but
And neither would the slaw dressing, but hey.
yeah,
Who's counting?
we're here to cook good food. We're not worried about diets.
Fat and carbs, but-
Well, this time of year, yeah. I mean, I think everything's gonna get a lot lighter once there's lighter things to eat.
Yeah, for sure.
We are supposed to be hibernating.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Well, and I mean, if you think about what would readily be available if there was no such thing as grocery stores. Like right now, it would be cured meats, any kind of meat that you were able to kill, grains because they store over the winter, what little bit of storage crop you might have left at this point, and that's pretty much it. There's not a lot of other options.
No, there's not. I mean, it's, especially now.
But that's what makes the springtime so sweet. And the summer. Oh my God, the summer.
So guys, I've got about a half cup of sugar. Not a half cup of sugar, half cup of mayonnaise. And I don't know, we're just gonna put some sugar in here. The recipe calls for about a quarter cup, but I also use this as like, it's a slaw dressing, and it's kind of what I use for like a white barbecue. So if you're doing like smoked chicken or something like that in the summertime, this is great with smoked chicken. So.
When you're done mixing that, will you give me a little tilt to the camera?
Oh yeah, sure.
Since we don't have the overhead today.
forget.
Yeah, I know. Apple went and screwed up our whole our
Cool.
whole flow today.
So, we're doing mayonnaise and sugar first. To do that, it kind of helps. We're just kind of breaking the mayonnaise up a little bit, because if you go just pour your vinegar in right away, you're going to end up with probably chunks of mayonnaise in it. So roughly 2 tablespoons of vinegar, and we'll do the juice of half of a lemon here. This will kind of help dissolve the sugar a little bit. And then we'll just add some smoked paprika. You could stop here if you really want it. I mean, just as simple as it gets. But we're doing a little splash of garlic powder and smoked paprika, about a teaspoon. Up here. Little salt, little pepper. Cool. So, dressing, everything's there. It's gonna be light red, I guess, with the paprika in there, but give it a little taste for seasoning. Shouldn't need anything else. Yeah. Sweet, tart. It's gonna contrast the rutabaga really well. So set that aside. Yeah, if you have some old parsley and you're gonna chop it up, go for it now. Yeah. Get this pan going for chops. Grits are coming along. Make sure you're checking those. I mean, if you're sticking on the bottom, if you're on low heat already. Basically, once we cut the heat and let them sit for a minute, unless it's super burned, the bottom of the pan will kind of get rehydrated and fold back into your grits that you've got going. So we'll probably had about 20 minutes left on these, kind of sitting. Your stock. We've reduced this by about half. I'm going to hit it with a pinch of salt and cut it off.
this may be a weird question, but do you have like a system you put together to time all this? Like you don't like set timers or anything? Like how do you know all this stuff's gonna get done at like the right time?
Oh, that's
Yeah,
the
so-
chef internal timer.
It's like the 20 years of cooking I've done. It's
Okay.
kind of all just.
So we should not expect, like we should have 7 timers out right now and like.
Well, I mean, I kind of like, as we're going through, remind people to check stuff and like, but I do like, especially if we're ripping stuff in the oven, I'll be like, please set yourself like a 4-minute timer and don't, just so you keep track of like how long they're in there.
Okay.
Because like if I'm roasting vegetables in an oven, it's going to be at max heat,
Yeah.
like with under the broiler. So it's if you forget about it, you could ruin it. But
Yeah.
yeah. But no, it's just a matter of like cooking for so long. But like this kind of stuff, like you'll know it's done when the texture's right on the grits. It's not necessarily like it takes what it takes, kind of. You just want to like stir it once in a while and make sure it's not burning.
Okay.
Yeah. Cool. Buttered. Yeah. Love butter.
How can you not? Just makes everything better.
So I taped over our fire alarm this week, so we're not starting the
We'll see. You probably should turn the hood on though.
Yeah.
I saw that was, what, a couple of times went off?
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
like every time. The fire alarms in this house are very sensitive. It takes like next to nothing to get them upset. So
So
just
I put
super
a piece of
annoying.
Tape over it. We'll be fine.
Do you have a preferred way of like cooking like meat, like chops versus like in the oven, like on top of the stove, on the grill?
So for me, if it's like this thin, like these, I'll just do on the stovetop all the way because it's less of a chance I overcook it. So like things can get away from you in the oven. Like even if you're used to it, or you can set a timer and just misjudge like where you think you need to check it again at, because they can go in an oven from like 120 to 150. I feel like so fast, especially when you're in the middle trying to cook and juice things. So yeah, I'll keep them on the stovetop and stuff like this, or on the grill in the summertime. I will typically leave the lid up while I'm grilling, because if you drop the lid down, it's like putting them in an oven. So it's just easier for them to get away from you. So I'd rather it take a little longer and then be perfect and like, then I botch it in the oven or something. So, but like last week we had that like 3-4 tomahawk steak. So I put it in because like,
It was gonna get cooked
it's
over.
gonna take like 15 minutes. So yeah, I just think it kind of depends on what you're doing. But I just like to take my time and make sure they're right.
Shinkini was asking if there's a grill pan that is recommended, or one to look, or what to look for in one if you're gonna get one.
We have this one just because it came in like a kit of like a bunch of stuff. I think we got it for Christmas or something.
Yeah.
But honestly, I would say just get something that's cast iron, or an enamel cast iron would be cool. Like something that gets heat soaked in it and holds the heat really well. Because this is like a double thick bottom on this pan. It's not just that thin layer that you see around the edge. So, but really cast iron anything. That's what I recommend. If you get like a big skillet, just get a cast iron. If you get a grill pan, get a cast iron. I mean, once it's summer, it'll be like be cooking outside a lot. But well,
Oh, the shops are looking pretty.
they're gonna be really good. I'm gonna go ahead and get some coffee in our stock to make this red eye gravy. So if you are using, I'm using instant coffee because it's easier. Like it's just easy. If you don't have instant, take some grind, throw it in your stock, like probably a tablespoon. Let it like steep into your broth directly, and then we can screen it out before we put the flour in to make the gravy. But I'm just gonna do the instant. So. And used up the coffee. So even better. Cool. Looking good. We're just gonna allow it to keep searing on the one side for a bit.
He says that they have the same issues with their oven every time they open it. The oven sets the fire alarm off.
Oh. Dude, well, it sucks because like to do something right at home, like you're pretty much just gonna set it off every time.
Yeah.
Because like you have to sear steaks or pork on a stove, like you want the heat to be really high. So what is
How
it
you
gonna
get that
do?
good crust on the outside.
Yeah, it's just gonna smoke up every time. So I don't know. Or if you're baking bread, if you have crumbs in your oven, it's gonna smell.
There's like a business opportunity here, like the anti-fire alarm. It's like, man, it sits above the fire alarm to blow everything away.
Sometimes, man. Yeah.
You may violate the fire code, but
Oh, it's just something you need to put up like while you're cooking. It's
Oh, yeah.
easily removable, right?
We had to pop the battery out of ours last time.
Last time we didn't stop. Because it's like half of a live stream full of a fire alarm. It's not fun.
No, it's very annoying to listen to.
we had a campfire near our little travel trailer one time, and the campfire smoke got eaten just as we were going to sleep, and it set off the carbon monoxide detector. That was not my fault.
We set it off anyway.
Wow. It is really sensitive.
It's super sensitive. It's like not even smoky in here. I know, it always surprises me. I'm like,
Yeah. Overly sensitive. But to get that.
That's just how you know it's good food.
Yeah.
Smells amazing.
Put the tape over it too.
I didn't think that was going to do anything.
Oh guys, sorry for the audience. We'll figure it out.
I would listen to that for hours for one bite.
Cool. Yeah, well, keep your grits stirring. I've got the hoods on, so I don't know.
Why don't you turn it on high?
Cool. Well, we're gonna temp these. So just like the ribeyes last week, we'll go close to the bone here. And these are about done, so
What is that still going?
It's hardwired.
we are at
I know, last time I popped the battery out though, this one like went off.
Is it a different one?
we are looking to pull these chops to like 125. And they'll carry up the rest of the way. So.
Put a bag around it.
chops are off. So took them at 125. So
Shankini said our parrot just started imitating the smoke alarm.
You're welcome.
wow, that's great.
Riggy wants to know what a good temperature is for a medium well pork chop.
Medium well, so pull it at 135 on the bone. That should come out perfect mid well. That'll rest up to about 145 is mid well for pork. Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. Cool. Well, grits are about done. I'm gonna chop up this parsley really quick. Put it on with the veggies for the slaw, and then we can get the gravy finished up here. We're almost there. So we want to wait to whisk in butter, cheese, or whatever you're finishing your grits with until they're fully cooked. As soon as you start adding dairy, they're more likely to burn.
They're more likely to brown.
To burn.
Oh,
like
burn.
the dairy
Got it.
will start to caramelize faster than.
Sorry, my hearing got a little wrecked getting close to
Yeah.
smoke alarms. I feel like I just stepped out of a concert.
Yeah. We'll get it figured out for next week.
With that question on medium well,
Yeah.
do you do something different to like different meats depending on the temperature or how people want it cooked? Like, is there like, oh, like if I cook it longer, then I will intentionally like have some brine or do something to retain moisture, or it's
Well,
gonna
I
be
mean-
like rare?
So, I mean, really, mid-well, I wouldn't like necessarily brine it. I mean, if you want it well done, like it's personal preference, and you just then eat it that way. Mid-well stuff can still be juicy, but it really just depends. I do cook things different temps depending on the cut of meat. So like, I do prefer like ribeyes because of the extra fat in them to be closer to medium. And then, stuff like tenderloin that's super lean, I'll eat like mid-rare or rare just because it's the nature of the cut. But with pork, really like medium to medium well is great because pork chops, one, do like to dry out fast, so like we talked about earlier, just brining those in general, no matter how you like to eat them, is usually helpful if you're worried about it. But the only reason people would cook pork like all the way through back in the day was for like trichinosis. The pigs are vaccinated for that now, so like we haven't had trichinosis in the U.S. in pigs since like the 80s.
Yeah.
So like there's really, I mean, other than like poor manufacturing processes that could like cross-contaminate it with like salmonella or something, or like you hear about listeria and stuff because it just plant's not properly clean or something like that. Yeah.
So pretty much anything you don't treat it any differently.
Not really. I mean, it's personally like, and then you get to like differences of like when you get into braising and stuff, like long and slow cooking or smoking.
Mm-hmm.
That's a whole nother fun.
Tune in next week.
Yeah.
No, I mean in the summer I'll have to do some like edited down videos of smoking and stuff, just because like you season it and then you put it on a smoker for 10 hours, and then you come back. And
24-hour live stream.
You go like live at
fun.
like 5 a.m. and then
we go through like a case of beer. And
yeah. I don't think you'll care
Just
much about
live.
one.
The most entertaining episode ever.
Yeah.
Faro at home after dark.
Yeah.
So, Cool. Well, I'm gonna go ahead and finish the gravy really quick. We do want your stock to be boiling again when you add your roux. There we go. So bring that back up. We're gonna melt down. This is probably
3 tablespoons.
sure 3 ounces or 1.5 ounces, whatever it is.
It's definitely not 3 because the whole
It's
stick
1.5
is 4 ounces.
So it's 1.5 ounces of butter. So we're gonna weigh out 1.5 ounces of flour really quick. You can do it by volume if you need to. If you don't have a scale, it's fine.
Having a food scale is a pro tip, though.
Oh, it makes everything so much easier.
Yeah.
Why do you find that easier to use a scale versus just measuring out like?
Well, you could have your spoons and everything. I don't know. For me, it's like put a container on a scale and you can do like several ingredients in a row and just tear out your scale and keep going.
Okay.
Makes a lot less dishes and a lot less movement and having to do different things. It's the same thing with bake. It's especially true for baking.
Yeah, baking you kind of need a scale.
Because I mean, if you scoop a cup of flour, I guarantee you, if you scoop the same 2 cups of flour, like they will not be the same weight. And baking is an extremely precise science, so you definitely want to use a scale. Plus, again, like I said, it's less cleanup, right? You don't have like 80 little teaspoons and like 20 measuring cups and all kinds of things to clean up afterwards. And for like bigger scale production, like if you're going from a single batch that makes like 12 things to something that makes like 48, it's much easier. Instead of measuring out like 10 cups, you can just do however many grams instead.
Yeah.
Clever.
Yeah, much easier. Makes you want to pull your hair out less.
So we're making a roux here. If you're using butter, I'm going to cook all the water off the butter before we mix in the flour. If you're using oil, there's not going to be moisture in that to cook off, so you can just immediately add your flour. And then what you're going to do either way, your flour there is going to be moisture in your flour, so you should see it kind of bubble a little bit when you're trying to cook your flour. We are making just a blonde roux to thicken this sauce, so you don't need to like take it too far or toast it or anything. Simply just use it to thicken this up.
It's like you got that butter pretty hot.
Yeah, I'm just cooking off the water.
Okay.
Probably set off the fire alarms.
So would something like European butter then like make this faster for you?
I mean, a couple percent. It probably won't make much of a difference for this, but
I don't know if I agree.
yeah, I don't know.
I mean, I got used to using the European stuff at the restaurant. So like whenever we were using it, it melted to me faster with like less pops of water than the regular stuff at the grocery store that we've been using lately.
Yeah.
What's the difference?
Butter fat, and it's higher butter fat content. So there's like less liquid.
Oh.
If you drop water into fat, it like sizzles and pops and makes all that noise. So the less of that that's happening means there's less like water in your butter.
Is European butter just something you can buy at the store?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, there's definitely some there. We haven't like done it necessarily like consciously, and yeah, I can definitely see the difference.
Yeah, I mean, I try to get local butter, but it's become more difficult. A lot of places have closed in the last couple of years. So,
Dairy is a tough industry to make money in. I mean, at a small scale, you have to pretty much commit to like a large scale.
I don't think I've seen like local butter or like milk or anything like that in a long time. Like I remember when I was really young in Minnesota, they had like the milk that would have like the cream on top.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't.
That's the good stuff.
That is the good stuff.
The local butter also is hard because like you need the separator to get the fat separated from the cream, and like and that shit's not cheap.
No, it's a lot of expensive stuff up front. So what are you doing here? I don't think I've ever seen a gravy method like this before.
What?
What are you doing? I haven't seen anybody make gravy like that before.
So we took our hot stock. Now, with the coffee already in it, if you were soaking really, like, if you're soaking your grounds, please, like, strain them off before you get to this point. We've cooked our butter and flour together, and now we're just kind of whisking that butter and flour into hot stock. And this the starch from the flour is going to thicken your stock. So, and you just whisk it out.
Can I ask why you didn't add the hot stock to the roux? Isn't that usually how you do a roux?
Yeah, so I found over a long period of time that is not necessary. It just isn't. Like, you hear it a lot. I heard it in culinary school, and I decided this way is less of a pain in the ass.
Okay.
So,
Just curious. I've never seen anybody do it this way before.
so this is thick, how we want it. I'll show you what that looks like on the spoon. So, it's going to coat the back of the spoon, and you're done. Once you get this in, put your gravy on low. You want to simmer it for about 5 minutes to cook the flour fully. That way you don't have this like kind of starchy flavor as you're eating. It's pretty good.
It's pretty. I don't think anyone doubted that.
No.
Cool. Chops are all rested up. Grits, we'll go ahead and finish these. So, like I said, for the 1 cup, we are going to put a whole stick of butter in this. It's 4 ounces. And we're going to put 4 ounces. We've got an aged cheddar. So, a lot leftover.
Sorry, you can use cheddar for pretty much everything.
Yeah. So I prefer a really sharp cheese with a lot of flavor. Parmesan, it's really good as well. But yeah. Cool.
It's a big chunk of cheese.
Yep. So I've cut off the heat on the grits. And we're just gonna grate everything in, whisk it in, and leave it up. So. Yeah, this dried corn here was from Moxie Milling. They're just a local kind of miller that takes care of all our like regional grains, so pretty wide option. If you're in the southeast, there are a ton of people drying and milling grits, so there's like a plethora of options. One of the big ones, Anson Mills down there, not only do they have their dried corn and grains, but they're really trying to rejuvenate the whole southeast really with just heirloom grains and everything. So if you can't support them, do it. Or if you have another mill around, go check it out. But
Yeah, the cool thing with Moxie too is they're doing like a lot of heirloom, like organic grain. So a lot of this grain is kind of tempered for being grown in our climate, especially rye. So that really helps with water usage and having to do a lot less like intervention in growing the grain, which makes it better for the environment and the soil and everything else in the process. So you're supporting something much better that way. Plus the flavor profile on freshly milled grain is head and shoulders above anything that sat on a grocery store shelf. I love their stone mill because it winds up making their grits really like texturally diverse. You get like really big chunks of corn and then like really fine pieces at the same time. And I think it just makes the whole pot so much better.
Grits might be one of my favorite things in the world.
Yeah, same.
So simple and so delicious.
We have our stick of butter.
Yeah. Yeah, I pulled this off the heat and this is just gonna kind of melt in. I've been making grits like this for 15 years.
Oh, why didn't you use milk in your grits?
So, you know how
It's the
I
hot
usually
topic.
say,
Oh, it's about to get spicy in here.
you know how I usually say cooking, there's no rules? There's one, I guess. After the other two.
What are the other two?
Make good food.
That's a good rule. We'll let it slide.
And then, so with grits, I'd love to just like rehydrate the corn. So I don't necessarily feel like there's any good reason to add milk or cream. So like milk itself, when you start adding it, especially to something like this, it gives this like kind of different sweetness. Like, 'cause the corn itself is typically going to have some sweetness, and then milk has its own kind of sugar, the lactose. So for me, I just like to use water and salt to rehydrate the corn, and then finish it with this ton of dairy with butter and cheese. But you know, I feel like cooking grits, if you're in the South, I feel like every family has their own kind of way to do it. Which is usually just put water and salt.
So good, so simple.
Cool. Well, we are gonna mix slaw now. This honestly might not be enough dressing for this much vegetables, but we'll give it a whirl. It's probably fine. Just take your tongs. Just kind of mix it. I mean, people have varying levels of how they like coleslaw. Some people like it super soggy. Some people just like light dressing. I mean, that's going to be up to personal preference. So, cool. This looks great. So I'm gonna finish plating and we're about done. So where are we at on time?
It's 4:55, so
Oh, nice.
about an hour.
Perfect.
Yeah, not bad for cooking a big meal from scratch.
Yeah. Start to finish.
Is slaw a southern dish?
Coleslaw?
Yeah.
Yeah, usually. It's kind of. How's that working? I mean, it's kind of like what coleslaw is like a cabbage salad essentially. I mean, that's where it kind of comes from, but then I feel like what you start tossing any vegetables with some kind of dressing, and you can call it slaw, you can call it salad, just I don't know, call it chutney. Kind of depends on where you're, what part of the world you're in, I guess.
Well, and isn't there like controversy over like just using like vinegar and like acids versus like adding mayo and more like creamy?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Is this rule number 4?
There's different variances. I like the classic southern style, like mayonnaise, sugar, vinegar, little lemon, couple spices. I don't know, but literally You could do olive oil and vinegar on it, toss it, and call it a slaw too. I mean, it's yeah. Anyway. Cool. I'm gonna plate one, and you guys can kind of see what I would do, I guess. So we're just gonna do.
Can you move the slaw out of the way?
Oh yeah, sorry.
We don't have the overhead, man.
Yeah. Cool. So I'm just gonna do this. I should put that up there. Take a pork chop.
Wow, those chops look really good. That perfect caramel
Yeah.
coat on the outside there.
Nice.
So what are you doing right now?
I'm just cutting these off.
Oh,
Yeah.
looks like Rufus wants some too.
He's smart.
He said he behaved himself the whole time until now.
He's behaving like I want to right now.
Yeah.
All up on the counter, steal a chop.
Like,
So
please
yeah,
drop a
so,
crumb.
so these are like, that color's gonna be really hard to pick up, I feel like. But these are medium.
Can you hold it a little
so-
closer to the camera?
Yeah, I mean, it's just really light meat.
Oh, okay. Yeah, it is.
But these are medium. We pulled them at 125. They rested up the rest of the way. And for me, that's why I like chops, but please take them further if you'd like. And I'm just going to kind of put this here. Won't sacrifice, don't want to discourage
Sacrifice
from
the bone.
eating the bone after you're done. Then we're just going to take a little bit of this slaw that we mixed up. I don't know. I don't want to cover anything up, but let me put it off to the side here. That way. There you go. So, start to finish, we're right in an hour. But, there you go.
Beautiful.
Yeah. Cool. Well, if you're looking to do, really quick, before we head out, if you're looking to do corned beef, for St. Patrick's Day, you got to start thinking about that now because it takes a long time to kind of wet brine, cure fully before you can cook it on St. Patrick's Day. So, if you're picking up a brisket this week, you want to do a brine, we've got the recipe up on the website for you guys. And that's kind of it for here, but you need to get that started soon if you want to do it. And I will get a video out on like making sure that's cooked perfectly, kind of closer to the day. So, because I also have to get ours brined and done
Yeah.
before we can cook it. But
Brining it, it's going to take what? You said 10 to 14 days?
for nice brisket, probably 10 days.
Like how many pounds of brisket do I need for the brine?
About 4 pounds.
Okay.
Like I would say ish.
Yeah.
I mean, if you get something bigger, that's fine.
But I'd like the thicker cut will take longer, and then like the thinner
Yeah,
thinner
so
briskets.
if you get a split brisket that's a little thinner, it probably take about 7 days.
Okay.
But if you get like a full brisket with the cap and everything, it takes longer. So,
Okay.
well, yeah. But thank you for joining us. Appreciate it. If you guys enjoyed it, please like and subscribe. Really helps us get this out there for everybody to enjoy. So, yeah, thank you guys. Enjoy the rest of your weekend.